皆さんこんにちは。聞こえないです。もう一回いきますよ。こんにちは。聞こえないです。もう一回いきますよ。I cannot hear you well. いきますよ。こんにちは。本日は、IVS クリプト2024最終日になりますね。Web3 ステージにお越しいただき誠にありがとうございます。本日司会を務めさせていただきますなこちこと大谷かな子と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。Hello, thank you so much for coming to Web3 stage. I am Kanako Tani. I'm a moderator for today's stage. こちらの Web3 ステージはですね、IVS クリプトの中でも非常に濃いエッセンスを展開するステージとなっております。それでは早速ですが、最初のキーノートスピーチに参りたいと思います。それでは本日最初のキーノートスピーチは The Power of Play CARV がゲームにおけるデータ主導のパラダイムシフトをどのように促進するかを始めてまいります。登壇者はポール・デリオさんです。The first keynote speak session today is The Power of Play How CARV is catalyzing a data-driven paradigm shift in gaming. The speaker is Paul Delio.So please welcome Paul Delio. それではお願いします。
Hello, konnichiwa. How's it going? Excited to be here this morning. See some people are still rolling in from the late night session, but yeah, I'm Paul, leading business at CARV. Joined the team 16 months ago. Been in crypto for about 5+ years, but by no means am I rich.And I'm really passionate about what we're doing at CARV and excited to talk a little bit about how we're doing, what we're doing with data and catalyzing this shift in gaming. So quick overview of what we're going to be going over today. Opportunities, solutions, problems, CARV's product suite, some other features, and then our numbers as well. But I want to set the stage very briefly talking about the gaming market and then also about recent trends in data as well. So shouldn't be too much new information, but 365 billion in revenue in 2023, the gaming market, and then the numbers below are the revenue respectively in PC and mobile as well. And so this growth has really been driven by the amount of people that identify as gamers. I believe right now it's around 3 billion people in the world identify themselves as gamers. I think there's a couple different factors here. Fortnite, the COVID pandemic, free-to-play gaming, whatever it may have been, there's more and more gamers now. Adjacent to that change and that growth is also the trends with data. 90% of the world's data has been created in the past 2 years. That's a 74x increase from the 2 zettabytes it was in 2010. And so data is everything. It's how we behave. It's how we behave online, it's how we behave in person, it's what they're using to train AI. But at the same time, users are being left behind. What do I mean by this? There's only a few companies, these centralized players, that control how data is being used and how it's being monetized. At the same time, these companies are championing themselves as, they care about data privacy, but at the same time, they offer no products or tools to their users for users to understand how, when their data is accessed, and for users to monetize their data as well. And that's directly what CARV is challenging and changing. So quick example on that, OpenAI, a company generating 3 billion in revenue a year, is using CARV user data to train their models. Well, in this case, CARV users would be sharing in that revenue generated by OpenAI. So really briefly wanted to touch on gaming and data to set up what we're building at CARV. So we identified 2 main problems. 75% of games struggle to target and retain and engage their ideal gamer. And at the same time, there's a lack of complete and ethical source data. So that first problem, the 75% of games struggling, is a $150 billion problem. In this post-GDPR and CCPA world, there's a 52% reduction in revenue, and cost to get users is going through the roof. So our solutions are really tailored to get users very effectively and at a cheap rate compared to what it is now. And then so the opportunities is to place individuals back at the center. So I was talking about that OpenAI example. We really want to put users at the forefront, give them control and the ability to monetize their data, and that's how, at the same time, we'll provide these game studios with effective insights to make effective decisions as well. So we're going to jump into that all today. So that's our solution, CARV protocol. What we're looking at here is basically the CARV ecosystem. It's 3 main products with a bunch of different features. It's the protocol, it's CARV Play, and it's our AI agent, Kara. CARV protocol is a protocol that empowers users to control and monetize our data that I was mentioning, and at the same time, it gives game studios the means to access that data and make informed decisions. In the next slide, we'll go into the different layers of the CARV protocol, but above that is the application layer. So CARV Play, this is a discovery app, and then Kara, our AI agent, I'll touch on later. But very briefly, want to talk about the flow of value and data. So gamers bring data to CARV in the form of Web2 gaming historical data, and then also on-chain behaviors, how they're spending, what they're holding, etc. The value they pull out from CARV Play, and there's an error there, sorry, but the value they're pulling out from CARV Play is in the form of gaming premiums, tokens, whitelists, whatever it may be, that's being brought by our over 390 game partners over there. So we'll go into a little bit more detail on CARV Play, but we're going to start with the protocol. And so this is a very convoluted graph. I don't really like it, but it does a really effective way of describing what we've built. And so it's a modular design, and it's multi-layered, and it all starts with the identity layer. So this is powered by CARV ID. There's a dedicated slide later on CARV ID, but it's ERC 7231. This is a standard that CARV authored and that the ETH Foundation approved. It allows for different Web 2 and Web 3 credentials to be bound in a single place. So this is how users are aggregating all of their identity in one central place, and it's how they'll be able to monetize that data later. We'll look at that in a second. But after they aggregate all of their identity in one place, they need a secure place to store it, and we give them many different options to do that. CARV Database is a product we're actively building out, but they could also use Greenfield, IPFS, etc., to store their data. Beneath that, so the computation and training layer. On CARV, monetization of data is what we're doing, like I mentioned, but there's no real point in that if users are jeopardizing their privacy. So CARV uses things like trusted execution environments and ZK proofs to prove users do X, Y, Z while protecting their privacy. So that's that layer right there. And then the execution layer, so just briefly talking about the over 40 chains we have indexed and are actively working with. And then the verifier layer is our node sale that we recently did, allowing users to participate in the decentralization of our network. Again, there's a slide on the nodes a little bit later, but this is the CARV protocol. It's what's powering the data exchange layer between games, brands, and then users as well. It's actually a really good way to describe CARV as almost a medium of a data exchange layer between those two separate parties. So now we're looking at CARV Play. It's a discovery app that's both B2B and B2C. So this slide is dedicated to what we're doing for gamers. So gamers are coming to CARV, of which there's over 2.7 million registered users all time now. They're coming to CARV to build out their gamer identity. They'll do so in several different ways. They'll start by linking several different credentials to their CARV accounts. Discord, Twitter, Facebook, Steam, Epic, Xbox, whatever it may be. And then they're able to do certain on-chain attestations and then also mint NFTs representing historical gaming achievements as well. Sorry about that. Those are called generative archive tokens. I didn't do a good job preparing my slides. They should be featured here. But you could actually mint an on-chain representation of something you've done in Web 2. So let's take me, for example. I'll bind my Steam account to my CARV account. I play a lot of Skyrim back in the day. I can mint an NFT that shows every achievement I have done in that game. This is also dynamic. If I were to go play more Skyrim and get more achievements, that would be reflective in that NFT with the click of a button. And so this is a very popular feature for the gamer. It's an achievement display, but it's also very, very useful for game partners as well. As we collect more and more of these generative archive tokens, I'm building out my identity. From a game POV, I'll understand what that user likes, and I'll make an informed decision that I want to target that user as well. And so there's many other different features on CARV Play. In the left slide, you can see different behavioral tags. I think that user has like influencer on it. That will be given to you if you have a certain amount of Twitter followers, et cetera. So it's like a talent-based and credential-based marketplace when it comes to targeting these users on CARV Play. They're also discovering games that they love, and they can leave reviews that you can see on the right. You can also see one of the Soulbound badges. So that user participated in an AMA with Supervillain Labs. They're also here this week at IVS. And so it's all about what users are doing and how they're behaving, and then feeding that back to our game partners so they can make informed decisions, which is what we talk about here. So CARV Play is an end-to-end suite of data tools for games to understand what users are doing in their community and in gaming as well. So you see on this right here, this is a tool in our CARV portal for games, to understand their community growth, where their community is active, et cetera. And in a little bit as well, we're going to look at some pie charts to understand, like, okay, this user plays this game, this user's from this region. Again, understanding data on users allows these games to effectively target their ideal customer. And over here is just what it looks like. So this is Shrapnel's game page on CARV Play. Players can leave reviews, trailer, pretty cool stuff. And so, again, most of this is all analytics powered, and we'll dive into it here in a second. Yeah, Kara, really briefly, the AI agent. So she's Telegram-based. Right now, she has two kind of main features. I think as a knowledge hub, she'll answer questions on tokenomics, token price, different quests on CARV, et cetera. Kind of a customer service agent for CARV. But then she also will have personalized recommendations. So another example, let's say I link my Riot ID to my CARV account. I play a lot of League of Legends, right? A MOBA game. Well, then Kara is going to curate my entire experience on CARV Play to MOBA games. I'll be pushed Web3 MOBA titles. I'll be pushed Web3 MOBA events, et cetera. So Kara is really making CARV Play more efficient in the future for users to find games that they may like based on games that they do love. And so again, I mentioned earlier, this is all powered by CARV ID. This is that ERC 7231 standard that CARV developed and authored. And so CARV ID is a gamer's passport to monetizing their data. When they aggregate all of these credentials, and you can see some of them here, to their CARV ID, they're actually opting into a passive revenue stream for life. How does that work? It's two main ways. So you're getting rewarded for the utility or the volume of data you're bringing to CARV. So again, oh, sorry about that. I have different credentials linked here. I've got my MetaMask, my Steam, my CARV account, IntelliX, so the NeoWiz team, strategic investor of ours, Ronin, Bitcoin, Solana, Twitter. So Web3 and Web2 credentials again. But then I have different weighted scores. So my MetaMask is a plus 105. My Steam's a plus 67. My CARV's a plus 45. Again, that's based on the volume of data that I have brought to the CARV protocol. MetaMask is transactions I've made, tokens I'm holding. Steam is hours I've played, games in my library, achievements I've done. CARV is the Web3 questing I've done as well. You aggregate all of that together, and you get a mining speed. It's very small, but you can see mine is like 258, I think. And then I can farm soul points once a day on 4 different chains. And so there's a direct correlation with the amount of data that you brought to CARV and the amount of soul you can farm. Right now, we have 500,000 unique active wallets farming this a day across Ronin, ZK Sync, Linea, and OPBNB. And CARV's actually one of the largest protocols because of that campaign as well. And it's all about rewarding you for the utility of your data. The other way, right, so the passive revenue stream I mentioned happens when big game studios work with CARV to conduct user acquisition. So again, this is data-driven user acquisition. Game studios may ask CARV, okay, I want a user from Southeast Asia who plays FPS, who has tokens on Avalanche, or has a specific token, whatever it may be. CARV can deliver effectively on that ask. We can identify those users, and then we can use CARV Play to engage them. So through API integrated quests, whatever it may be, we can go get users into games to do X, Y, Z. So very valuable to the game partners of ours, but even valuable to the user, right? So CARV's all about providing that data ownership to users. If I'm a user from Southeast Asia who has those different criteria met, I'm actually going to earn a percentage of the fee that game paid CARV to do user acquisition. So this is a dramatic shift of how it's done now, where users are actually taking part in the monetization of their data and sharing in that revenue generated. Funny enough, 2 weeks ago, I was actually back in LA. I was filming Killer Whales, that kind of Shark Tank show CARV got invited on. And they asked me a little bit more about this. They asked, how much of the fee is the user getting? Like, if I'm a user on CARV, how much am I making? Right now, it's actually 100%. If a game pays $1,000 to CARV, well, that's $1,000 going back to the users that we target for that game. That's called data to earn. And yeah, so users are making money on CARV, and it's greater than zero is how I like to explain it, right? Right now, it's only centralized players reaping the benefits of our data. At CARV, we're taking a decentralized approach and giving back to the user and putting them at the center. Yeah, that's all on this slide with infinite play, or with the CARV ID. More on it in a second as well. Wanted to briefly talk about the CARV nodes. So we recently had a sale. Maybe you guys saw this, but we sold $35 million in nodes. This is to decentralize our network. Anybody running these nodes will basically allow us to do everything I mentioned in protocol. The nodes make sure it all happened in a privacy-preserving and true manner, and it allows the users to participate in the ecosystem. 35 million, that was pretty good. We were really happy with that given how choppy the market was. And 25% of our token supply is allocated to these node runners in rewards as well. So brief mention on the CARV nodes. They're integral to our ecosystem. And then I wanted to look at infinite play as well. So a quick case study. I mentioned earlier we have 500,000 unique active wallets a day participating in CARV protocol. Well, now we're letting those users farm the soul points by playing games that they love. So on this right side here, you see different games. We have Overtake, we have IntelliX, we have Infinigods, Terminal, Genopets, Wilderworld, Aperion, Blocklords, and many, many more participating in this campaign. For example, we had Neon Heroes in Season 1. And what's happening here is now our users can go play games that they love. Now that they can go do social tasks of games that they love, and now they can do on-chain tasks of games that they love and farm the soul points at the same time. For the record, Soul will be exchangeable to our CARV token upon TGE. So what we're doing here is driving very quality users to these games. These are high-value users who spend on assets. These are high-value users who play games. And yeah, the traction is from about 2 weeks, or I guess earlier today. I got this picture, but it's a 2-week-long campaign right now. And I think I can barely read that, but Overtake has about 13,000 players driven to their ecosystem. In Season 1, we drove 58,000 players to Neon Heroes. So these are great numbers for Web3. And we're delivering on data analytics as well on these players I'll show in a minute. But that's our Infinite Play campaign. And we're in Season 3 right now. So yeah, this is what I was just talking about as well, these kind of pie charts. You can see what users are doing, how they play games, et cetera. So like, if I'm a game in Infinite Play, that Infinigods, for example, I may want to know what kind of games are these guys playing. So you can see, oh, this guy plays a ton of Counter-Strike, or these users play a ton of Counter-Strike. They like these type of game genres. They're from these geolocations. Again, understanding these users will allow these games to do better user acquisition, and again, make them more successful by doing said user acquisition. So CARV is both helping games, brands, et cetera, find their ideal customer, while also allowing users to take control of their data. I think that's what's really more important and what I'm super passionate about, but it's all about making informed decisions. So a little bit on our numbers, I've mentioned briefly throughout the talk. 2.7 million registered users. This is over a 2-year period on CARV Play. 1.1 million is our latest MAU. So our UAW is actually 620,000. 920,000 unique active wallets have purchased a CARV ID and have opted into this data revolution and control of their data and this passive revenue stream for life. I say purchase, but you're really just paying for a gas fee. 560,000 it's not the latest MAU, sorry, this is a typo. It's 560,000 have bought a .play name service, so that is like paul.play. It's a redirection to my gamer profile. Working with over 120 plus of the best KOLs. On the game side, so 390 plus Web3 games have been onboarded and are using our products. 350 Steam and indie games are integrated, so this is also very important to be bringing Web2 products to our Discovery app as well. 1,000 plus campaigns, 200 plus games are using our analytics. 13 INOs have been launched and 80 million monthly API calls. So again, stressing CARV has a user base that we could bring into games. That's a lot of value right there. Just some other info right here, 42 chains integrated, et cetera. But I think what this numbers slide really represents to me is that our approach, this data revolution, is an approach that's already market validated. We have users that want to use this or that want to take control of their data and monetize, and we have games that need our solution to make these informed decisions. So that's my takeaway from this right here. And just a little bit on our backers. So obviously here at IVS, IVC was one of our first checks into CARV. So we're really, really grateful to be here. This is my second year at IVS, and I'm really thankful for IVC. And then we have some other really great backers as well. Not to mention some great angel investors. Gabby, thank you for being here from YGG. And then, yeah, you can see here the 35 million. I think given the market conditions, that was a big success, and a lot of it was from our community members that wanted to participate in the decentralization of our CARV network. So just a lot of market validation we're seeing from what we've built. And yeah, that kind of brings me to the end. If you are building a game, if you are a user who cares about data privacy, come check out CARV. You can connect with me on Twitter or on Telegram. And yeah, I'm very, very thankful to be here back in Kyoto talking about something I'm passionate about. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございました。Thank you. 大きな拍手をお送りください。Please give a big applause to him, to the speaker.